I wanted to follow up on a post I made earlier. I've gotten a bunch of comments and questions about how to remain target focused with iron sight, so I wanted to just complement that with a suggestion that I've received and used. So hopefully on this shot up target, you're noticing one particular thing, and that's going to be obviously the number 7 written, and it's smaller than the size of the paster. What I have is 4 targets that are set up, and on those I've got unique cues, and that's the key to all of this. So right there I've got a letter C. I just basically filled in the C on the empty target, and then I've got 2 more right here. I've got the letter K and I've got the letter W, obviously all smaller than the size of the paster. Now the point of this is obviously going to be the visual cue. What I'm looking for is in my transitions, in my presentation, every time I look to the spot, I want to make sure that every one of those letters or numbers or whatever you're looking at, that's specific enough that you could pick up the detail that you need to make sure that, all right, once I present the gun to that spot, I know what it should look like. And if it's obscured, blurred, blocked, whatever it is, if it doesn't look what it should look like and your sights are on your gun, on your hands, on your sights, whatever it is, you know you're not doing it right. And if you're not doing it right in that moment, just pause. So if I cover the K with my sights, and that K is small enough because it's about 3 to 5 yards, it's small enough where I am not blocking it entirely. If I close one eye, I can't see it. So I'm just going to pause right here and be like, all right, I recognize my sights are blocking it. I'm just going to pause and just see what does it take. I'm going to adjust my vision and slowly adjust it until I literally see the K perfectly clear, as if I'm looking right through here. Because combination of both eyes, obviously, it's helping me combine a complete picture. I haven't moved my gun, it's not moved anywhere, but my right eye is complementing my vision to the point where now I can see that the K is perfectly clear, my sights are now blurred. Now, the difficulty, as I mentioned earlier, is as you start introducing different distractions, it's going to be harder to maintain that focus. I could stand here all day and do the K and just stare at it and then work on that, but that's not really enough. You sort of work through it by just muscle flexing everything else around. So this is why it's beneficial to have multiple spots. So I've got the different options, and obviously I'm leading with my eyes. So from the K, I'll go to the C, transition to make sure that from here, I've got a clear vision of that C. And then as this distraction comes into my vision, I'm making sure that one, I'm obviously landing on the spot that I need to, but that letter remains clear. Even though it's even smaller than the K, I need to make sure that I can see that perfectly clear, even though the gun just moved into my vision, which is distracting, and now the gun's back in my vision, stationary, which was distracting already. So that's going to take practice, and as you start building up and landing each spot, you start recognizing, okay, that spot remains completely clear every single time. As I transition wide, as I transition small, as I transition closer, far, whatever. The point is, that spot needs to stay clear. And you do this and you start recognizing, all right, this is what it looks like. Now, through recognizing what clear is, you also acknowledge what blurry needs to be. The problem and the uncomfortable part of this is that people are too uncomfortable to be like, blurry sights can be okay. This is confirmed through live fire. In dry fire, I'm not going to do much here. I'm obviously just pointing spots and that's it. Maintaining my grip, making sure everything's relaxed, etc., etc. But in live fire, you're going to maintain the same visual discipline, but you're going to start playing around with what your vision's actually doing. So even though you're not perfectly seeing the sights, you've got a general idea of what it looks like. And as you start going through live fire, you start recognizing, okay, my sights may not have been perfect height, perfect light, whatever it is. It may not have been that, but I'm still hitting where I want to hit. And why is that? Because you're bringing the gun, your vision is driving the gun for the most part, and you're pulling the trigger in a consistent way. Obviously, you're not jerking the gun or anything like that, and it's going how you want it to go. And that's going to be key, because as you start going back and forth, this doesn't happen overnight. As you start going live fire, dry fire, dry fire, and start working through it and recognizing that this is how you build on your vision and start improving and recognizing that, all right, it's going to take step by step, recognizing what's good, what's not, and then just exploring what is the biggest distracting thing. How do we change it up by changing distances or difficulty in targets or adding more complexities? Like, I'll be transitioning and then introduce a reload. Now I've completely obscured my vision because I can't see any single target that I want to shoot at all. So I've now lowered my vision, but once I'm done with the reload, I need to make sure my vision's back up on there. So we're back to square one, bring the gun back up, and then we're back at it again. So it's introducing little things like that, even moving, changing positions to that spot, and then you're like, all right, once you're in position, you want to look to that spot, and then you're back on target and doing it all over again. So these little things to help force you, but these cues are going to be significant because you know what it looks like, and then you want to just make sure you're practicing to make sure that as you transition, present the gun, shoot, whatever, those all need to be crystal clear. If you have any more questions, let me know.